Marc Stefanski, can you please come up and say some words?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here this evening. It's my pleasure to host this evening along with the family. Danny A., I really got to thank you very much. Thank you. Danny, again, I know it's been said before, but you've been an amazing supporter of the cause the last couple of years, and I just don't know if we'd be this far along without your help, so thank you. It's interesting because Kyle being my son, we've done this a few times across the country, and I always talked first. And after each time that I would speak, we'd give each other a hug, and then he'd say to me, well, you said everything I was going to say. So he was stuck. I was going to tell the starfish story. And so interesting how that works. Yeah, you know, how do you get involved in this kind of stuff, and why? I think about when Rhonda was going through her treatment, and Kyle said it before, how we were blessed to be able to afford all these things, but there's so many people that don't have that advantage and don't have that privilege. And I considered it an honor and a privilege that we could support Rhonda until she passed away. And, you know, part of what we do is for therapy, that we get people together and with a sense of community that we have, rallying around someone who's ill. I think it's, as human beings, it's about the only thing we have left. And it struck me the summer that Rhonda passed away, before she was diagnosed, that at my company in Cleveland, Ohio, we're kind of a family there. We have 1,000 people that work at the company. And this one gal, Michelle Deluski, Michelle had worked for our company for 40 years or so and developed brain cancer. And in the midst of all her troubles, they used up all their savings. And finally, when the doctor said that they could no longer help her at the hospital and send her home, she went home, and they really didn't have any money left. All their savings were used up in the treatments. And the one thing that she loved about her home especially was her backyard. She loved her garden. But she couldn't get there. She couldn't get there because there were steps where she had to walk down, and she could no longer walk. And so we got together, and I think the ramp was $1,500 or something. And for the 2 weeks that she used that ramp, she was one of the happiest people that I ever met in my life, because she knew that the sense of community supported her, and she got to see her garden. And it was very, very touching how something simple as that, and I'm sure everyone here in this room could go home and build, you know, a bridge across a river. But that little ramp made a huge difference to that lady. And I learned a valuable lesson, and that was giving back is really important. And giving back and seeing that in action really makes you feel good. You know, a lot of money is raised for research. I don't know where the money goes. I don't know if anyone in this room has ever seen research before. I'm sure it's valuable. But seriously, we showed only 3 people here up on the screen, but there are 1,000. We have pages and pages of stories through the Cleveland Clinic especially that we've helped these people. And it's not necessarily a lot of money, but it's enough to bridge the gap between where they're at and inevitably where they end up. So with that, I'd like to close with this thought. 2 things, actually. I always try to think of myself, you know, what am I doing here? And I think, how would I be judged? So I look at myself and I ask myself, how good of a father am I? How good of a son was I? How good of a husband am I? How good of a friend am I? And the other part is, what am I doing to give back? What am I giving back? Is there a cause greater than myself? And I think that we have found that in the loss of Rhonda. And I hope that the family continues to rally around that cause, because it's very meaningful, and to maintain her legacy long after I'm dead and gone too. So God bless my family. God bless all of you. And thank you very much for being part of tonight. I appreciate it.